What's good, YouTube? This is Stormy B Man, and I'm back with another pre-fight video breakdown. Before we get started, let me say shout out to the LDBC, the Lions Den boxing community, and Liberated Perspective, a third eye view of the world. For more content such as this, please like, comment, subscribe, and share. Coming up this Saturday, June 26th, we're going to see on Showtime pay-per-view the WBA Super Lightweight Championship battle between Gervonta Tank Davis and Mario El Azteca Barrios. This is a showdown between two lightweight fighters and champions that is one of the most anticipated 50-50 matches that you'll see this year. The reason that this fight is such a 50-50 matchup is because both champions have shown in their own way the propensity to turn back the challenge of whomever they've stepped in the ring against. In the case of Barrios has faced opposition that he's had to pull matches out. He's stopped guys. He's had a string of KOs where he's knocked out 9 of 10 of his last opponents. And being 26 years old, he's 5'10" with a 71-inch reach. He really will tower over Gervonta Tank Davis, who's also 26 years old, 5'5", with a 67-inch reach. But check this, ladies and gentlemen. Gervonta has knocked out 15 of his last 16 opponents for his complete record of 24-0 with 23 KOs. We see that Barrios is 26-0 with 17 KOs. This is one of those matchups, again, on paper, 50-50. The fight may not be that when it actually happens because you just don't know about the intangibles. And both men have intangibles that have yet to be totally fulfilled. In the situation of Tank Davis, we know that Tank likes to fight guys that are not that athletic. Tank is kind of like a lightweight version of Canelo, but with power. He can stop guys, but he doesn't like to have to track guys down and chase them down who are agile and mobile on their feet. And we don't really know about Tank's boxing ability. He's been able to get his opponents out of there, but again, a number of his opponents haven't been there that can get away from him, extend him, and then make him box. In the case of Barrios, he does box a little bit more than Tank does, but he's another one of the fighters that I call that like contact. He doesn't mind mixing it up, thus his name, El Azteca. You know, he's a guy who's going to battle you. He's going to give it his all. He's going to dig deep. He's going to try to tap into that reservoir that the opponent may not have. Now, what's interesting, when these two come together, if Barrios elects to go on the inside and try to make war with Tank, he may run into one of those lethal uppercuts that we saw Leo Santa Cruz take, or he could get battered heavily. We've seen him take damage to the face, and Tank Davis has been known to bust guys up when he makes contact with their face. His power is real, ladies and gentlemen, and for such a pint-sized guy, it's almost like watching Popeye. I like the fact that he has the ability, what we call the equalizer in the sport of boxing. But what I don't like is the unknown. I don't like not knowing whether or not Tank can box his way with quality opposition. This may be the instance where we'll see El Azteca have an advantage. If he can keep Tank at a medium to distant range and utilize his jab, utilize lateral movement, this can turn into something very interesting and not so convenient for Tank. But I still favor Tank in the fight simply because he has that power, which is his equalizer. The other aspect is we'll see if Tank has developed that body work a little bit more, because a lot of times when you're punching to the body, someone who's trying to get away and stay away will be slowed down, and eventually they'll have to fight you back. That's what he's going to be gunning for. I want to see Tank utilize his jab to try to get on the inside, not necessarily trying to jab to score the points, but to allow himself the access that he needs. Doubling up and tripling up on the jabs to work his way in is the way to go. Jabbing to the chest, to the sternum, to the solar plexus, jabbing to the pit of the stomach. Staying in a crouched position while doing these things, that'll be very advantageous for Tank. And also, it may be a good strategy for Tank to allow Barrios to lead with shots so that he can counter off of them, either slipping inside or outside and shooting and firing his shots off of counters. Allow him to lead. Don't necessarily just wade in, but it'll be to his advantage to do things of this nature. We'll see if his coach has prepared him in that regard. Now, as far as Mario Barrios, this will be his big time fight. He's going to have to put it together and stay disciplined. Yes, Tank is the shorter guy, and I'll tell you, it's a misconception just to think because he's short and pint-sized, as I called him, it doesn't mean that he's not capable. I saw Tank once in a fight. When he hit the guy with his first shot, it just busted the guy's face up. I haven't seen that in a long time. And that's the type of power that you just don't want to run into. You don't want to get battered to the body too much from that. So you keep them at range. Make sure you tie them up solidly. Make sure that the referee is separating you and you get started and reset. And you also have to make Tank pick his feet up. Now, I know that Barrios is not necessarily the most agile guy on his feet, but he has to utilize the range and he has to utilize his reach. This is the smart thing to do, but it's a great fight. I really like this fight between these two men. And again, like I said, it's one of the biggest near 50-50 matches on paper that you'll see in boxing this year. Who will prevail in this fight? I think the person that will prevail in this fight will be the person who is most prepared and also the person who is conditioned to do what's necessary at the appointed time. You have to seize opportunity when it's there. If you get a guy, you hit him, you shake him up, you've got to be able to try to capitalize that and follow up. If you've done something and you realize that he can't deal with it, like in this instance, Barrios being a southpaw, will that give Tank problems? We don't know if Tank will be able to handle that. We've never really seen him, fight another southpaw like that. But Tank being a southpaw, it may not be a problem for him. Will Barrios have a problem with Tank being a southpaw? Very interesting aspect there. I expect these guys to come out. It'll probably be a filling out process in the first few minutes of the fight, and before you know it, they'll get into exchanges, and whomever hurts the other first will be the one that's able to set the tone. Because once a person is hurt, they become a little bit apprehensive, and then we see them be cautious. At the end of the day, I give the slight advantage to Tank based on the adjustment that can be made by him. He knows how to go into the high guard and walk a guy down And with the power he possesses, he can change a fight and turn it around with one shot. The Mike Tyson-like power, again, is real. And that may be his ace in the hole. But he shouldn't go for the gunning knockout early on unless Barrios just comes out and makes silly mistakes and opens himself up. And that's where you can see the separation between the two. Who remains disciplined? Great fight on the horizon. Look forward to this. Can't wait for it. This is Stormy B, man. Those are my thoughts and early pre-fight breakdown. Let me know what you think about it, and let's have comments and a discussion about the match. That's all I have for you now. Until the next time we speak, peace, and everyone remain safe.